Hello everybody and welcome back. SirDaVinci here with another weekly vendor reset video for the division. As you've probably noticed, if you are someone who uses my channel for these videos, I did not make one last week, and that is due to the fact that I was not home. Not much I can say other than that. I just was not available to make the video last week, unfortunately. And I do apologize for that, but I do plan on releasing a couple videos this weekend to try and make up for that. Obviously, it's still not going to help you with last week's vendors, but I know there are a lot of guys who make very good vendor reset videos, so hopefully you guys went to them instead of me that week. With that being said, we also have news of the PTS releasing for 1.6.1, which is going to have loadouts and a couple other patches. Loadouts are going to be extremely convenient for anyone looking to run multiple builds. As myself, I pretty much really only run one build, so it'll be a lot easier for me to test other things out due to the fact that I can quickly change in and out of them. But other than that, why don't we jump right into the vendor reset video, because that is exactly why you guys are here. Alright, so as always, starting here in the hub in the base of operations where all the DLCs start, in the special equipment vendor for Phoenix credits, we are going to start with the exotic weapons. First one up here is the Historian, and this week it's actually got some decent rolls. This one's got Brutal and Deadly, and obviously has History Repeats, which is a guaranteed talent. Seeing as how that's a guaranteed talent, you want at least one good talent other than it, and luckily Brutal is amazing on sniper rifles. You could roll away Deadly for something like Prepared, or any other decent ones that might match up for snipers. So this one is definitely going to be a good one. If you don't have the Historian yet, if you're waiting like me for one that has good rolls, this is definitely a decent time to get it. We also have the Centurion this week, which has Capable. Cassidy has Self-Preserved and Fierce. Pecan has Skilled and Prepared, and the Liberator has Vicious, Fierce, and Dominant. Alright, still in the same vendor here at the Special Equipment Vendor Phoenix credits, we have a decent PP19 here with 21% critical hit chance, 18.4 thousand base damage. It has rolled talents Unforgiving, Responsive, and Hurried, which is the guaranteed talent, but Responsive and Unforgiving are very good talents. Responsive for SMGs is great. Also many other weapons too, because most of the time your gunfights are going to be happening up close, especially in PvP, which is exactly why Unforgiving also fits this gun very well, which is a great PvP talent. So when you're trading against somebody in a gunfight, when your health gets lower, you're going to be doing increased damage, and if they don't have Unforgiving, then you're going to start out DPSing them. And obviously Hurried in the third slot, the guaranteed talent, is also very good for SMGs. Obviously it's not going to help too much with dishing out more damage, but seeing as how SMGs have the guaranteed critical hit chance on them of usually around 20% to 24%, it's going to allow you to get that reload speed really low and be able to reload your guns very fast, which is very nice, especially if you're using an SMG that has a low mag. Obviously this one's got a bigger mag, but if you're doing something like Alpha Bridge and you had this as the secondary, and you were getting Hurried as that extra talent, it'd be very good for something like an MP7, which has a very low mag. One other thing I did notice, that I think they are upgrading the magazine size on extended mags, at least extended mags anyway. It might also affect other ones. Not by a whole lot, but at least to the point where it's a lot more helpful due to the fact that a lot of DPS is primarily focused around how many bullets are in the gun. Alright, and we are now going to scroll through all the gear set pieces in the Special Equipment Vendor. Alright, last thing here in the Special Equipment Vendor, we also have a ProRed site here, which is very good for SMGs. It has the primary stat of critical hit damage at 16%, 4.5% optimal range, and 3% critical hit chance. So obviously this is going to be a very good SMG focused site, because you want to try and get headshot damage if you're using something like an assault rifle or a sniper. So having that extra critical hit chance on there alongside the optimal range is actually very good, because SMGs are primarily focused for up close, and having the optimal range will allow them to be effective at least a little bit longer range. Alright, still in the base of operations hub here, we are moving over to the special blueprints vendor, and once again, as always, I'm going to mention every week that I do a video, If I have already purchased the blueprint, it's not going to show up here, so I would definitely personally come here to this vendor and check it out, whether you watch the video or not, to see what's here, because if I have already purchased it, you're not going to see it here. So say, for example, if the lightweight M4 blueprint is here, you're not going to see it here because I've already purchased it, so I personally will not know if it's here or not. So definitely come and check this out whether you see this video or not. But this week we have at least the M870 Express blueprint, classic AK-47, electronics backpack, and electronics vest. We also have the holographic sight and the quick release magazine. Alright, still in the base of operations, we move upstairs to the advanced weaponry vendor, and in this one we have a rant suppressor here, which is good for SMGs. It's got 7% critical hit chance, 2.5% stability, and 4% critical hit damage. For most people, they're going to be running something like the muzzle brake, which has the main attribute of critical hit damage, because you can still get 4% critical hit chance as a minor attribute on it. But if you're someone who's missing like a little bit of critical hit chance to try and get to the max cap, which I believe is about 60%, then this is still not a bad suppressor to use, due to the fact that it does also have critical hit damage. Instead of stability, I would suggest getting accuracy, due to the fact that SMG's accuracy are kind of low. On the MP7 or some other SMG that has a higher rate of fire, stability will come in handy, but 2.5% isn't all that much, so you could probably try and get optimal range or accuracy instead. Alright, now also moving to the front of the base of operations here at the weapons vendor, we scroll down to find a nice Omega rifle suppressor, which is primarily for snipers and assault rifles. This one has 17.5% headshot damage, 2% accuracy, and 3% critical hit chance. Instead of the accuracy, it's probably better to have the critical hit damage there, but it's still a nice suppressor if you need one, and it's for base credits at 174,000, so definitely not a bad buy. Alright, next up at Camp Hudson, the hub where you originally start the game. Here at the weapons vendor, we scroll down to find a perfect extended mag. 109.5% magazine size, 2.5% critical hit chance, and 4.7% rate of fire. Obviously, each of those categories, I believe, can be higher. I believe the rate of fire might be able to go up to over 5%. Critical hit chance, I think, can get to either 3 or 4%, and magazine size can be around 110, maybe a little higher. But either way, this is like all three rolls that you want to get on a magazine. So this is a perfect one. Definitely get this one if you guys are on the game around this time. I'm going to be grabbing a few myself, so definitely check that one out. Alright, so starting off our Dark Zone checkpoints here at the East 42nd Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we go in here to the vendor and find another nice extended mag this week. This one does not have all the perfect rolls. I personally would rather have rate of fire instead of the reload speed, or maybe even critical hit chance, depending on what I'm using it on. But this one's got 110.5% magazine size, 4.5% reload speed, and 3% critical hit chance. So if you're someone using a gun that you feel doesn't really need the extra rate of fire, because it isn't all that much, but you could use the extra reload speed, then this is a very good mag. It's a very good mag either way, but personally I would suggest getting the other one, especially if you don't have the Dark Zone funds for this one. Alright, now next up here at the West 31st Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we have a decent Scar H here. It is a semi-automatic sniper. It's got 147% headshot damage, which definitely could be higher, but still good. 59.3 thousand base damage. It comes with Prepared, Unforgiving, and Harmful. Two of these talents are perfect for semi-automatic snipers. Prepared is good for any sniper due to the fact that you're going to be shooting from a distance most of the time anyway, so you're most likely going to be having that extra 15% damage. And you're also Harmful is very good for the semi-automatic snipers in order to get bleed on targets. If you're trying to run away, you can snipe them from afar, try and slow them down to catch up. And for Unforgiving, I would personally roll that away for something like Brutal to get that extra 15% headshot damage. Especially on snipers, seeing as how most of the time you're going to be aiming for the head. Alright, next up here at the West 46th Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we have a prototype performance mod here with 5% support station healing speed. I believe that can go up to 6%, so this isn't necessarily the best that you can get, but if you guys are wanting to run like a support build and run the support station, get your teammates healed up, and even yourself, and keep yourself protected with that one that gets rid of all the status effects on you while you're in it. This one is definitely a good one to have to increase that healing that you can give to your teammates or obviously to yourself. I know personally running solo, it's sometimes nice to have first aid and a support station to get that healing constantly due to the fact that you don't really have any help from anyone else. So this is definitely a good prototype performance mod to pick up, especially if you're running a support build. And next up, at the West 53rd Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we have another prototype performance mod here. Once again, we have another nice first aid self-heal mod, which is potentially arguably one of the best mods that you can get, especially for solo players looking to increase the effectiveness of the first aid self-heal to keep themselves alive without the help of other teammates. The max percentage you can get is 6%, so 5.5 is definitely still good. There were, I know, a few weeks ago, maybe even over a month ago, there was the 6% first aid self-heal for sale for base credits too, and I was very glad to see that because I did not have all four 6%. So this one definitely good to pick up if you have the Dark Zone funds to get it. It is only, mods are only 21,000 Dark Zone funds to get, so if you spend a little bit of time in a Dark Zone, especially if you're just doing like caches, you extract those high-end ones, then you'll get yourself a decent amount on top of getting supply drops and stuff like that. Even if you aren't doing the PvP aspect, you can still get yourself some funds to build up to buy these if you need it. Alright, now moving up to the northern Dark Zone areas at East 61st Street Dark Zone checkpoint. This is the weapon mod vendor, and here we have another extended mag. This one basically has the same three things as the previous one, which is magazine size, critical hit chance, and reload speed. This one I believe is worse than the other one though, just by a small amount, but either way, just in case you run into this one first, and you see this video, then definitely go to the other one. I believe it's slightly better, and obviously you'll save yourself some Dark Zone funds if you get this one and find out that the other one's better. Alright, now moving into the Dark Zone, first off here at the safe room in DZ08 at the special vendor. Here we will scroll through the gear set pieces now. Alright, next up here at the safe room in DZ09 at the weapon mod vendor, we have a nice Omega rifle suppressor mod here. 18% headshot damage, 2.5% critical hit chance, and 4% critical hit damage. These are the three stats you do want to get on your muzzle. Obviously, they could be higher rolls. I believe you can get 19% headshot damage, at least 3% critical hit chance, and I believe actually 4% critical hit damage is the max. So this is definitely a very good suppressor to get, primarily for your assault rifles or snipers. Assault rifles is definitely going to be a good one. I should actually probably check out what my current assault rifle one is and see if this is better, because there's a good chance of that. But definitely grab this one if you guys can. And moving upstairs in the DZ09 safe room to the special vendor here, where we will scroll through the gear set pieces now. Alright, and to finish off the video here at the DZ06 safe room at the special vendor one here, we will take a look at the gear set pieces. Alright guys, that'll do it for this week. I really appreciate you guys for watching. If you were someone who usually comes to my channel to check out the vendor resets, I do apologize for not being around last week, but there was really nothing I could do about it. And obviously by the time that I could make the video, it was already too late, because obviously everybody else already got their video up, and chances are everybody was going to their videos, which are great videos, just so you know. So that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate people coming to my channel to check out the video. I know I do get it up pretty quick on the days that I do, or the weeks that I do get it up. But either way, I haven't really spent too much time on the game. I have not given up on the game. I know a lot of people are trying to say no new content with the new 1.6 patch kind of kills it. But at the same time, for people who just really enjoy the game, you don't necessarily need new content. You kind of just have fun playing. You don't necessarily need something new. I completely understand for people who say it gets repetitive and all that. There's no doubt about it. But for me personally, I don't think I'll really ever get old of the game until the Division 2 comes out. And then I'll move on to that, obviously. There probably most likely will be new content, and obviously a gear set score increase. I know a lot of people also don't really like that. For the people who are casuals and don't really have time to grind gear all the time, I understand not wanting a gear set increase due to the fact that you're not mid-maxed yet, you didn't get a chance to play the game with a fully made build. But at the same time, for the people who are really dedicated to the game, I mean, I personally work 40 to 50 hours a week, and I still get enough time in to get builds made. So I can't really say there's no excuse, but at the same time, it shouldn't be that bad as long as you do the things each week that can get you the most gear, especially if you're playing uh, Last Stand. You get crates from those from leveling up or just winning matches, and it's crazy the amount of gear you can get from that. Or if you do survival, if you enjoy survival, that's one of the reasons why I don't think this game will ever get old to me, is survival is always a new experience every time you run it. And it's rewarding. You get stuff at the end. It's not necessarily the most effective grinding method for gear, but at the same time, it's not a grind as much as the rest of the game is to get gear. It's just like a fun game mode, which is why I really suggest a lot of people check it out. I know like some people have a hard time getting through it, but when I first started off, I wasn't winning all the time. I still get killed. I still go 10 runs in a row without finishing or dying, and I just keep going at it until I succeed, and then it's rewarding as hell. So that's why I'd suggest if you're someone who kind of gave up on survival just because you kept failing, failing is learning. You're going to get better the more and more you try it, so there's a higher chance of you actually completing it next time. And you just put a lot of thought in your head when you're running through the survival runs, which is another reason why I know I said in a previous video a while back that I do still want to do a survival guide for people who are still interested in it, like a really in-depth one. That way, for anyone who still has yet to complete it, which I do still run into people in survival that still have not yet completed it, and it's kind of crazy to me. And that way they'll be able to give a really in-depth guide on what to think about and what certain things goals to achieve, or like kind of like a checklist to go for off the start. That way you kind of make, or say you run into a time where, okay, I can't do this, so move on to this, and times where you kind of just got to hurry up and not necessarily take your time as much. But yeah, so really appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, definitely leave it a like, comment down below. Any feedback is always appreciated. Any conversation you guys want to have, any things you want to point out or suggestions you want to make, please feel free to leave them down in the comments, and subscribe for hopefully plenty more to come.